Good morning, Corey from Rockpole. How are yous? Oh, what's happening today? So, got a little drama going on at the moment. I went down to turn the bore on yesterday and I noticed that the bore wasn't coming on. So, we don't have any water. No water on the homestead. So, we're going to go pull the bore out and have a look and see what's going on. I'm hoping it's just the low water float switch, hopefully. So, but we'll find out when we get down there. Alright, and I want to show you something else. We had a little score not yesterday, the day before yesterday. We picked up a little petrol powered wood chipper slash mulcher. So it just needs a part of the clutch. So we got it cheap. We got it for $100. It's got a 6.5 horsepower Briggs & Stratton, which works a treat. I do have all the other parts in the back of the ute, but we just need a part for this clutch, which I've ordered and is on the way, and it's just from a local company. I'm hoping it will be here this week and we can get it cranking. Right, let's jump in the boss's car and we're going to head down to the bore and see what we can find out is going on down there. Yesterday I come down to turn the bore on and I noticed it wasn't working. So we generally turn it on once a week to fill our tank, because there's no point having it on and letting the tank overflow. The water just goes out on the ground. So I come down, I've got a manual switch down here that I just turn on and keep it simple. And I come down yesterday, turned it on, and nothing. Nada. Zero. So let's have a look around. So we have two solar panels here. We generally, in summer, I only run the bore on one from a solar panel. We just have some simple cables coming down, and I can join these two panels together in winter through these branch connectors. Then we come over here. We have a little manual switch on the ground. I'll just use a battery isolator switch, on off, very simple. And that's our bore. Our bore actually doesn't have batteries or a control panel or anything like that. It's the most simplest one you can buy. I get them for about $350. Basically, it's got two wires coming out of it, and those two wires go straight to a solar panel. As long as your solar panel generates around 40 volts, and I'll check, actually, I'll show you what is on the panel, because I can't remember. But this pump has been in the ground here for probably coming up to 3 years untouched. In the scheme of things, that's not too bad. To be honest, I'm not sure how I'm going to pull it out yet. So let's just have a look here. Oh yeah, we have a check valve there. Okay, so I've got a check valve here. So this actually allows water to come out of here and pump through here and up to the tank. And there's a little valve in that stops water going back that way. So I should be able to disconnect this pipe here and grab that, and it does have a rope that is tied to the pump itself, so as long as I don't drop that down the hole, we should be all right. And then I should be able to pull it out. How deep is it? It's 25, 23. One of them. 23 I think it is down. So let's just see what we get up to here. Well, it's not good news. I think the pump's buggered. $350 for nearly 3 years. Is that worth it? So I'll go and buy another one now. So another 350 for, we'll just call it the same amount of time, say 2 to 3 years. So I think that's, just doing some quick calculations, I mean, you can pay thousands of dollars for a bore, and how long do they last? Do they last forever? Like, who knows when something's going to happen? You can't tell when something's going to break. It could break tomorrow, could break 5 years down the track. Who knows? So I'll just give you a quick little look. That's the little bore impeller here. This spins inside this tube and it just pumps like I think that's called like a helical impeller or something. I don't know the technical name for it. But water goes in through the holes here. This spins, pumps it up there and pumps it up to the top of the wherever you want it. We go tell Mrs. RP that we need a new pump. So we managed to get the new bore pump, some bits and pieces, some tools. Let's have a look and see what we need to try and change this bore out and get the new one in this morning. So to start with, we've got a special heat shrink resin filled or glue filled heat shrink kit, I should say. So it comes with cable joiners in there, some small heat shrink to put on the cable the first time, and then a bit of this putty stuff, which I'll show you, which goes in there over the cables, and then you finish off with this big one, and it's full of glue, and when you heat it up, it melts the glue onto the cable, and hopefully makes it 100% watertight, because that's handy when it's sitting in water every day for the next couple of years. Standard tools, multimeter, a couple of pliers and some good scissors, a knife, a bit of solder, a little heat gun to shrink the heat shrink with, and we've got the pump. Let's have a look at this pump, eh? Okay, so this is a DC 24 volt 210 watt solar only pump. Would it run off 24 volts DC from a battery? Very possibly it would. Am I going to do that? No. I'm just going to run it straight off the solar. So I'll show you what the solar panel rating is just after we open the pump up. So let's see what's in it. Okay. Right, what do we got? Oh, first of all, we got a bit of foam that can go in the bin. We have a instruction manual, which I think the box actually may have got wet because that's kind of molded to that shape. So, but they're instructions. We don't need instructions. Oh yeah, it comes with a spare. Let's open this up. What do we have here? So we have a spare impeller. So this is the impeller that just screws onto the top of the pump. So this is a spare, I would say, because I presume there's already one in here. And this is the, what would you call that part? The impeller housing. And as this turns, it pumps water up through here and out there, out the top. It's quite small, but I think that's how most bores kind of work, with this sort of helical type, I think it's called a helical type setup. So we'll put that over there, that can go in the shed for spares. And what else do we get? Oh, we got some heat shrink in here. That's a bit of rope, I'd say, if you want to tie it on here and dangle it down from the top so you don't drop your bore down the hole, but I've got other rope. I don't know if I'd honestly trust that. And we've got some different types of heat shrink here. Oh yeah, it looks like, you probably can't see it on camera, but it looks like there's like a gluey type substance in that, and some short bits, a couple of short bits just because. Now we'll put that and that over there. And what do we have here? So we have the cable, pretty self-explanatory on the cable side of things. Just a positive and a negative. This here is a low water cutoff. So this normally sits about, judging by the length of this particular cable, maybe half a metre to maybe 700 millimetres above the pump. And I think you can hear it. There's like a little switch in there with a float, and the water actually brings the float up, which activates the switch. And when the water, if the bore starts to dry out and the water goes down below this level, the little float will drop and it will disconnect the circuit, so the pump won't come on and run dry. And then we have the pump. Oh, careful here. So, yep, there's an impeller in there. It's got 2 eyelets here to tie the rope to. It's got a standard 25mm outlet. It says it's got voltage protection and overvolt protection in it. Protection against drying out. That's it. Oh, there's a bit of information on it. Let's read this out. This is just a bit of technical data, just in case you want to go and get one. Model number is an 3SE 1.5, 5 to 80, DC 24/210 watts. Max flow is 1.5 cubic meters an hour. So that's 1,500 litres an hour. Now obviously that's optimum flow, like it does say it does 80 metres head. So I very much doubt that you will get 1,500 litres at 80 metres. There'll be like some sort of chart where it drops off as the higher the head goes. Voltage is 24, watt is 210. It says the outlet is 3/4 inch. Single solar panel, 330 watts. Working voltage is 36 watts. IP68 rated, and the connection is one piece. What does one piece mean? Who knows? But that's what the specs are on the pump. So my plan is to go and cut the other one off and rejoin this one on. Now what I'm probably going to do first is just check this pump that it works before I put it down the hole. That's always a good thing to do. So I won't solder the wires on or do the heat shrink or anything. I'll just connect the wires, just twist them around, and then I'll turn the switch on and hopefully the pump will work. So you'll see this is where I got to yesterday. So I'm going to cut this cable, undo this knot. So that's the old one. It's going to come with me and get taken apart. Alright, so we just got the 2 cables from the solar panel here. It's got the trusty old multimeter, just set on DC volts. And now we'll chuck these in, and it's telling me we've got just a smidge under 34, 33.95 roughly. This one, 34.01. So that's good. They're only like 2 of a volt difference. Now we go check the other end of the power lead. So this is the wire I just cut. This is what actually goes down to join onto the bore pump, and it's telling me, can you see that? 34.25. So I'm guessing the little bit of sun may have come out behind a cloud. That's why the volt is like 0.1 of a volt up from over there. I'm just going to split these 2 wires and get them apart from each other. Now technically, if I put this on to the pump should work. Let's try it. It's on. Can you hear that? Success! Okay, this is good. So now I'm going to splice these wires together. That's my plan. do is we just basically get some tape, just electrical tape I found, it works a treat, and just tape the rope and the cable back to the pipe every 1.5 meters roughly, all the way up to the pump. So I need some thread tape to screw the new fitting into here. I don't want that to leak, not down in there. Because the bore pump gives a fair bit of pressure. In order to reach 80 meters head, that's a fair bit of pressure needed to get that, but it doesn't do high volume. So it does low volume, high pressure, as opposed to take like a little bilge pump for a boat, right? They do high volume, but low pressure. So they'll pump thousands of litres an hour, but you won't have much head pressure with it. That's why they're designed just to pump it from the hull of the boat, out the back of the boat, so maybe only a metre of head pressure with big flow of water, whereas this is designed the other way around. So it's designed to pump to the top of our hill if we wanted it to, but it would be limited with the amount of flow it would produce at the top. So I need to go find some thread tape back up there, and I may as well have some breakfast while I'm up there, and we'll continue this when I come back down. All right, we're back. Breakfast was lovely. Most importantly, I remembered to bring the thread tape down. So what do we got here? We've got a little fitting 3/4 inch thread, goes into the pump, and then I've just got, that goes onto standard 20mm or 25mm blue line poly pipe. Now, I believe there's only one way to put thread tape on. So I'd just like to give it a little, what do you call that? Put a few little scores in the thread, I guess, with the knife, and then we get the thread tape. It's all I could find was some pretty pink stuff. Pink PTFE thread tape. So now, I'm right-handed. Thread tape is on my right finger. See, I've pulled the thread tape out from the bottom of the roll on my right finger. Got the threaded part in my left hand with the thread I want to put the tape onto. So I basically get my thumb, hold the tape on. You can give it like a little indentation if you want, and then I basically just roll the first one around, giving it a bit of pressure, like stretching it a little, but not enough to snap the thread tape. All right, and once you're around, giving it a fair bit of pressure on that. All right, and I'll probably go around, what do we call that, 8 times. Oh, we'll go 10. 9, 10. Alright? Hold it, pinch it, snap it off. Reason we go that way is because when we screw it into the fitting, it actually, I'll just try and find the end. So that's where we snapped it off. As you screw it in, it will actually pull that thread tape onto this thread. Whereas if we wound it the other way, when you wind it in, it'll actually undo the thread tape off the thread. I know, am I being a bit fussy? Probably, but you got the idea. And I like to leave a little bit of the thread to start on the actual fitting, so it starts in the fitting quite nicely, because sometimes some of those retic fittings are a bit cheap and their threads are a bit soft, and when you go to screw it into like a metal fitting, they can go a little bit sort of like cross threaded or not quite bite in right to start with. So that's my reason for that. And now we'll go screw it into the pump. Starts off nice and easy, and then it starts getting a bit firmer because you're starting to take up the thread tape. And I'm only going to do this up hand tight. The joiner is done. It's all firmed up, really rigid now. The glue is oozing out each end, which is exactly what I wanted. I tell you, I don't know if you can see them, but there is so many dragonflies down here. Like, there's one right there. Hey buddy, how you going? There are like so many. Alright, so this bit I think is pretty self-explanatory. Alright, so you can see I've just taped it, the cable and the rope to the pipe. Now I do that with the rope keeping it tight as I pull it down, but the cable I give like a tiny little bit of slack, so when the bore is hanging, when the pump is hanging in the bore, all of the tension is on this rope, and there's zero tension on the cable, And we're basically going to do this just right to the end of the, till we get up to the pump. So just go around half a dozen times or whatever you're comfortable with. And then we'll go again. I've actually come to the joiner that I put in, so I might put a bit of tape sort of either side of that join. That's on there. This is how I did the last one. I've done a few of these. Oh, now we got the knot. Oh, I said I was going to show you the knot, wasn't I? So what we do first, right, is I'm going to do a loop roughly, well, I'm going to do a figure 8 roughly here. Now figure 8 is you bring the knot, I've forgotten how to do it now, hang on. Oh yeah, that's right. So you bring the rope over, so we're over the other rope, we come around the bottom and back through. Alright, and we want it up a bit higher. Actually I want to go a little bit higher, so I'm just going to go up there a bit. Oh, it's not actually working how I want it to work. Alright, there we go. Okay. So you can see that, hopefully, it looks like a figure 8. Would you call that a figure 8? I would. So then we're going to go through our eyelet on the pump and through there. There's 2 eyelets on here, so I'm just trying to get them sort of through. They are a bit small and the rope is a bit tight. Okay, so right, we're through. Now I don't know if this is going to be a good knot explanation or not. Or not, no pun intended. So basically what you do now is you see this rope here, this length, how it feeds back up and does a figure 8 and comes back out the top. You want to replicate that with this one. So you go in there, right, and it actually goes under like that, and then you can see how it's actually a bit more awkward than I remember. And you can see how it follows down through there. I know the camera's not doing it any justice of what I'm trying to achieve here, but I thought I'd give it a go. So you can see we've gone parallel, we've come around the back, parallel, through, parallel, and now we hook up under here, and we're going to come back up and follow this one. So I need to get that through there. There is probably an easier way of doing this, but I haven't found it this morning. Okay, so that one through there, and then that one through there. Right. And now we are left with a figure 8 knot. Hopefully that will be good. And I'll just tuck that in around there. So I'm just going to go turn that switch on and hopefully we'll hear this pump come on. Got to say, I'm pretty happy about that. All right, we are ready to go back down the hole. Oh, I've just hit the water. Don't let go of the rope. Alright, so all that pressure's on the rope now. So you kind of go, got a little slot for the cable. Leave a bit of slack. So we'll just tie this up. And then we have the cap. Like that. Let's turn it on and see what happens. Alright, so I've just flicked it on. Generally takes about 10 seconds for the little controller in the pump to register the volts from the solar panel. Why? And there we go. We have water. Oh, it's cold. Mind you, it's coming from 25-ish metres down in the ground, so... Right. Lovely. Yeah, that's good. Pretty happy with that. So that's just running straight from the solar panel, the wires, straight into the pump. So I'll just turn it off and I'll put this pipe on, turn it back on, and we should be pumping up to the tank at the top. Pumps off, so we put on the collar and the little locking doodah. Nice and tight. Now we'll flick it back on again, and I can hear it, and I can feel the vibration. There we go, just come on, and now it's pumping. If I need a tap down here, I just turn that on, and I've got a tap if we need water. What do you think about that for a solar bore install? I can't say that too quick because I'll stuff it up. Alright, if you like what you see, folks, please subscribe, share, like. If you want some more information on this particular bore pump and where I get it from, leave a comment and I'll get in touch with you and let you know where you can get them from. I really appreciate you guys tuning in and just seeing another little adventure on the rock pile. See you guys next time round. Cheers, folks. Bye bye.